Well, he just suggested that maybe we should get a joint bank account so it would be easier to pay bills. Absolutely not. Hey, this is Janelle, the relationship coach behind the Successful Invisible. I have the pleasure of working with wonderful, beautiful, professional women who are 35 years and older, who are single and looking to meet and date in just a more successful manner and just have more success and fun in dating overall. So here's today's dating tip. Never give a man access to your money. This holds true in both dating and marriage. And I'm going to cite an example from my own personal life on this one. This came up a couple weeks ago when I was working with a client, and this is a client I've been working with for a while. A beautiful, successful woman, has her own, stuff, has her own home, car, etc. Very well paying job, and she has been dating this gentleman for a few months, and they're now to the point where they're broaching the conversation about living together. And that is something that came up in the session. Was he suggested that they get a joint account. And I said, absolutely not. This man doesn't need access to your money. But if you two want to create a household account that's separate and at a different bank than your individual accounts, and you you make deposits from your personal accounts, that's likely more prudent. Okay? So that she may still go through with it. That to me is a much safer way to handle that type of instance. Anyway, I say this because it was brought up in the session, and I've seen this on social media quite a bit. No woman should ever give a man access to her money. He is a man. He is able to go out and work and get a physical labor job, get a second job, get a night job a lot easier, and do things to make money, and he'll be relatively safe doing that as a man versus a woman who is in a similar predicament. So my personal story on this of why you never give a man money comes from my parents. My parents have been married 52 years, and I love that they still are friends, and they, come together. They still do a lot of things together. They do a lot of things separately. They've always been their own, persons. But one thing that I really appreciate about them that they taught my sister and myself growing up was to have your own money and always have oversight of your own money. Now, for as long as they've been married, it's a little different. They do have access to one another's bank accounts. But my mother was very honest with me. That didn't happen until decades into their marriage, okay? That did not happen immediately. So I was talking to my mom about this, about like when they first got married, how did they start out? Because she's a teacher, and she was teaching right out of grad school. So been teaching since her early 20s, retired now. But she said the way they handled it was to do the joint account, idea, where they set up a separate account and they put money in it from their personal accounts. And that worked for them for years until they, they were still doing that even after they had kids. They didn't do the just having access to one another's stuff until much later. And she said that made her feel very emotionally safe and financially safe. And I think that's a very sound way to do it if you are in a serious relationship and there's going to be some sort of commingling of finances. You still need to look at it and do it in a very prudent way. But never give a man access, like direct access to your money, especially when you're in the dating early phases, even up through, I would honestly say, marriage and having your kids. Now, people can change at any moment, but you need to really assess a person's character to see, are they going to be the type to screw me over? Is that their ultimate plan? Of course, we never know a person's mind, but in general, what are they displaying? What are they showing me? So never give someone access to your money. If you are going to make a financial decision where, as I said, you're both pouring into the household, that needs to be done very strategically and intentionally. There should be no way that if that money is taken out of that account, it is going to impact you. I think another solution or alternative that's even better is just decide, if you decide to move into with a boyfriend or something, or even earlier in your marriage, just decide who is going to pay what bills and let that person write checks or pay online from their own personal account. And then maybe you do a tracking. You can verify payment to make sure things are actually paid through online portals and whatever. That to me is the safest, where you're not even commingling things. But never give someone access to your money. If you want to create a joint checking account, do so at a bank that's not affiliated with either of you individually, and make a brand new account. Or an even cleaner way to do it is just decide what bills are going to be paid by which party, and each party writes checks or does online transactions to pay those bills directly from their own personal account, and then there's no overlap in that sense. So never give a man access to your money. Be safe and be very prudent with how you move through this dating world.